Welcome back to another episode of The Quest for Self. I'm your host, Allie. It wasn't about the car. It wasn't about the rude message. It wasn't about the demanding coworker or the lack of a thank you. It was all of it. You know that moment when something small just sets you off? Maybe it's a comment, a dismissal, or someone just doing what they always do. And suddenly, you feel heat behind your eyes, your jaw tightens, and you're angry. But the truth is, it's not just about that moment. It's about everything that came before it. The things you never said, the times you let it slide, the versions of yourself you've outgrown, and the roles you were expected to keep playing. This episode is about the kind of anger that comes from being misunderstood, overlooked, or boxed in. It's about family. It's about work. It's about being someone who's finally tired of dimming herself to keep the peace. It's about the resentment that builds when you've been too quiet for too long. And what happens when you finally let yourself feel it all. Today, we're diving into quiet resentment, where it comes from, how it builds, and what to do when it finally overflows. Have you ever let something so tiny just set you off? A passive comment, a dismissive glance, or someone doing what they always do. And suddenly you feel your jaw clench. You're enraged. You know you're overreacting, or at least that's what you tell yourself. But deep down, you also know this moment isn't happening in a vacuum. The truth is, it's not about that one moment. It's a buildup. It's the things you let slide because it's not worth it. It's the times you held your tongue to keep the peace. It's the exhaustion of always being the understanding one. It's the version of you that quietly endured, smiled through it, didn't want to rock the boat. And eventually, you reach a point where you can't pretend anymore. Not because you want to burn bridges, but because you're burning out. Because your silence has become a cage. And the breaking point? It's actually your body's way of saying enough. I want to tell you about a story. A few weeks ago, I borrowed my cousin's car to take myself and my dog Mia on a solo beach trip. Something that honestly scared me a little, but her car made me feel safer, more prepared, more grounded. My cousin was kind enough to lend it to me, and I was genuinely grateful. The car was already in rough shape when I got it, and of course, a beach road trip didn't help. I, of course, wanted to get it cleaned and even scheduled a professional cleaning and arranged for the cleaner to go directly to her house. I thought, this is how you show respect. This is how you say thank you without saying thank you. But my cousin missed the scheduled cleaning because she fell asleep. So I scrambled, recoordinated things, and made it work anyway. The cleaner showed up again and got it done. Still, not a single thank you. Her excuse? I was too tired. As if we're not all tired. As if sending a quick thank you text costs more energy than posting an Instagram story. And then, of course, she went silent like she always does. radio silence. Cold shoulder, vanish mode. That part, I'm so over it. But the truth is, it wasn't just that moment. It was the buildup. The exhaustion of always being the one who organizes, fixes, coordinates, and covers for others. I didn't need a parade. I just needed a little acknowledgement. I just wanted to feel like I mattered. So yeah, I snapped a little when she missed a scheduled cleaning time, said some things in a harsher tone, and one of the most important things I'm learning is you have to own your reaction without erasing your reason. I'm not proud of snapping, but I'm not going to pretend I didn't have a breaking point either. I'm human. I have limits. I also have boundaries. I'm not an angel, but I'm not a doormat either. Then there's work. The demanding account manager who sends curt messages asking for things she could easily do herself. It's the expectation that I'll figure it out, clean it up, and say thank you for the opportunity to do so. Add to that the side hustle drama, someone trashing my car, giving me a bad review after ignoring my messages. All of it a pattern. I was simply overwhelmed by everything. When you're always the responsible one, the calm one, the bigger person, the one who doesn't make a fuss, you end up becoming the person everyone relies on, and then you start to resent it. It's not just about the people, it's also about how long you've tolerated it. Anger isn't just rage. It's your inner self saying, I need to be seen. I need to be protected. Resentment, well, it's not random. Resentment teaches us. It points to where you've abandoned yourself. It's not about becoming bitter. It's about becoming aware. So here are the questions I started to ask myself. When am I over giving? When do I feel resentment? When am I not speaking up? And who am I trying to rescue that wouldn't do the same for me? So, how do you reclaim yourself in small but brave ways? Well, sometimes it starts with a simple no. No explanation, no apology, just no. Because you're allowed to decline things that cost you peace. Other times, it's about saying how you feel, without being rude, without being dramatic, just honest. Hey, a simple thank you would have been kind, but I guess that's asking for too much. Or, I actually don't have the capacity to take that on right now. I felt dismissed in that moment, and I wanted you to know. Or, I don't want to hold on to resentment, so I'm choosing space. These are tiny acts of self-respect. They're small, brave ways you take your power back, not by shouting, but by choosing yourself. At work, when this incident occurred with a rude account manager, I wrote a polite but clear message to the account manager, reminding her of her own capabilities. With my cousin, I've chosen space. I'm learning to let go of guilt, to say no, to stop being the reliable one when it comes at my own expense, to stop always having to be the bigger person. Because if you constantly have to be the bigger person, maybe it's time you stop surrounding yourself with little people. A quote I heard and loved from the Mel Robbins podcast. So, how do you move forward? You start by listening to your anger, not to lash out, but to understand what needs to change. Because resentment doesn't make you a bad person. It means something has been hurting for a long time, and you finally stopped ignoring it. And healing? It doesn't always come from fixing the relationship. Sometimes it comes from fixing the pattern of overgiving, over-explaining, overextending. So give yourself the space to be honest. Give yourself permission to feel. And when you're ready, take one small, brave step in a different direction. Because something I always say, and it's true every time, every step you take, even the hard ones, leads you to a better version of yourself. And that version knows her worth, speaks with intention, and honors her boundaries without guilt. She moves differently because now she moves with power. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of The Quest for Self. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share. It would mean the world. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media, The Quest for Self.